A photograph should be a comfort, a reminder of good times, moments captured so we will never forget them. However, some photos have been taken over the years that serve to puzzle, intrigue, and sometimes terrify us. Let's take a look at 7 of the most mysterious and unexplained photographs ever taken. Stalker at the Grand Canyon. Back in the late 70s or early 80s, the date has not been confirmed, a gentleman decided to take a picture at the Grand Canyon. Upon developing the photo, he noticed a mysterious hooded man in the background, lurking in the trees. He and his friends were adamant that no one else was there and that no one noticed this figure while taking the snap. This gentleman's nephew went on to post this odd image to the internet many years later, and it has gone on to perplex and baffle thousands of people. The very tall, thin man is dressed all in black, with a hood up and a seemingly very pale skin complexion. Could this person actually be a ghost, or the Grim Reaper, or was he someone sinister who was just waiting at the Grand Canyon to cause trouble? Or was it just an innocent coincidence and someone who was looking around the Grand Canyon himself? It is worth noting that in recent years, the man who posted this has confirmed his uncle was known for practical jokes, and since this was taken when he was a kid, perhaps it was all a prank to freak him out, and because it ended up online, they have kept the story going. Whatever the truth is, this majestic image has forever been tainted by an unidentified figure who is looming over proceedings. The Hook Island Sea Monster. This image makes the so-called pictures of the Loch Ness Monster pale in comparison. This supposed sea monster was sighted by Robert and his family back in 1964 on the coast of Queensland, Australia. Serek said the head was about 4 feet from top to bottom, and he described the creature as having jaws that were 4 feet wide. He claimed the monster's skin was more shark-like than eel, and he did not notice it had any scales, and it had a very long tail. Robert recalled he thought it was going to attack his ship before it swam away. However, before it did, he managed to take these famous images. Some have suggested this image is photoshopped, however that trusty source of fakery was not yet invented back in the 60s. Others say it could have been a large piece of plastic weighed down by sand. Believers maintain that this is a real sea monster picture, largely due to the fact it looks very lifelike and striking, as well as huge, and if it was a hoax, it is not clear how the family would have pulled this off. No credible explanation has ever been put forward to explain this photo, and it takes its worthy place as one of the strongest images of a supposed sea monster of all time. The Cooper family photo. Here's one of the most famous and disturbing supposed ghost images of all time. The snap was taken back in the 1950s as the Cooper family moved into their new home. Once settled in, they decided to take a family photo and sent it off to be developed. Upon its return, the family excitedly looked at the photo, only to see a horrifying entity seemingly falling from the ceiling. This picture is intriguing due to the fact that no one has ever been able to explain it fully, and the family never gained anything from it, with the children said to have suffered nightmares for years after. Some have called the picture a fake, a clear case of double exposure. Others have proposed someone was playing the part of the body, and even that the photo developers were playing a sick joke on the family. It has been asserted, but not confirmed, that professionals have examined the photograph and it is indeed genuine. Perhaps some things are better left unknown, but one thing that can't be denied is that this image, real or fake, is one of the scariest and most memorable supposed ghost snapshots in existence. The Falcon Lake Burns. Captured in this image is Stephen McCulloch, the gentleman who experienced what has been dubbed as Canada's best documented UFO case. According to this man, he was travelling to Falcon Lake Whiteshell Provincial Park in the Canadian province of Manitoba back in May 1967. Stephen claims to have witnessed 2 objects hovering in front of him, each emitting a red glow. He claims he could see an open door on the side of the disc-shaped craft, and he could hear voices inside, but they were muffled out by the loud noises produced by the craft. Strange experience ended when the craft suddenly fired into action, generating a blast of heated gas which hit McCulloch in the chest and set fire to his clothing. He claims he took off his clothing as the craft flew away and made his way back home, feeling nauseous and disoriented, with what were now very visible burns, which were of course snapped in the picture. Skeptics of Stefan's story state that his burns could be the result of an accident stemming from alcohol use, and that he made up the story in order to conceal their true cause. It would have been a strange accident, as these burns don't look conventional, and it is uncertain where he could have picked these up, but of course, who knows. Stefan maintained the truth of his encounter right up to his death in 1999, and ever since this photograph has of course been pondered over as being possible evidence of a genuine UFO encounter. Worstead Church Ghost. This apparent ghost image has sent tingles up many a spine. Taken in 1975 at Worstead Church in Norfolk by Peter Berthelot. This picture shows his wife Diane sitting in one of the pews with an unwelcome companion right behind her. Upon viewing the photo, the spooked couple presented it to the reverend of the church, who told the couple of the legend of the White Lady ghost, and informed them that reports of this spectre went back well over 100 years. The Reverend advised them that she is a reassuring presence, known to heal those who are sick at the church. The figure in the photograph seems to be wearing light dated clothing and is hooded. Some have claimed the picture to be a hoax, but villagers of the area have come out in complete belief of it, with many sightings of the White Lady reported over the years. What's important to mention is this couple were very low profile, and there was no real game for them to fake this, as it did not lead to anything special for them, other than confirmation from their reverend and villagers that yes indeed, the White Lady makes her presence known in the church, and it was no shock to them that they had captured her on camera. Time-travelling hipster. A mysterious man known as the time-travelling hipster was photographed in November of 1940 wearing what appears to be modern-day clothing, along with more modern sunglasses and carrying a camera. This image was made available for public viewing to visitors of the Barlone Pioneer Museum in British Columbia, Canada in 2004 as part of their exhibit Their Past Lives Here. It was long argued that the photo was a fake, but in December of 2010, a Russian investigation team named NTV located the original photograph and determined it to be real with the help of a museum staff member. There have been a few theories presented to explain the image of how the man could just be of that time and not a visitor from the future. While patterned t-shirts did not really exist back in the 40s, the image on his shirt could easily be the letter M, the logo of the Montreal Maroons hockey team, who indeed had a jersey that featured an M on the front. The hardest thing to explain is the so-called modern camera the man is carrying, although it has been confirmed that despite very rare, cameras of that size did actually exist back then, despite being incredibly expensive. Even if he was just a man of the 1940s like everyone else pictured, he at least certainly looks out of place and stands out like a sore thumb. Time traveller or not, this hipster was setting some serious trends, even back in the 1940s. The Patterson-Gimlin Film. While this next one is video footage, the single image has become just as memorable. Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin became infamous back in 1967 when they claimed to capture Bigfoot on camera. To this day, this story has fascinated Bigfoot hunters and mystery lovers, and all these years on, it still has not been debunked despite many efforts. The footage was taken alongside Bluff Creek, California in Humboldt Country on October 20th. It shows what is supposedly an adult Bigfoot walking along and peering back at the two men. Roger Patterson passed away in 1972 and maintained right to the end that the creature on film was genuine. Gimlin also has always denied this being any kind of hoax. Gimlin has gone as far as to say he wishes it had never happened, as there is now all this attention and desperation for him to admit it was faked, which he maintains he is unable to do.
Well, think whatever you want to think. I know what I saw, and if you've seen the film footage, analyze it and think about it. And don't tell me that they can't exist, and because there's so many people out in the woods all the time that would see one. I'd say, don't even talk to me about that. I said, you know, just think about what you're saying, and if you don't, then that's your ball game. You know, you can think. I said, I'm not out here to prove to anybody that they exist at all. I said, I know they exist.
The figure has convinced many over the years, with even some qualified people saying fairly positive things about the footage. Esteban Sarmiento, a specialist in physical anthropology at the American Museum of Natural History, who had decades of experience with great apes in the wild, advised he found some inconsistencies in the appearance, but nothing that would conclusively show that this was faked. Bill Munns, a special effects and makeup artist, believed the monster was genuine and produced an analysis to argue this. John Chambers, Academy Award winning monster maker who worked on the Planet of the Apes, believed that this was a fake. It would have had to have been created with state-of-the-art special effects and a lot of real animal fur. However, of course, a lot of the general consensus is that this was probably a man in a suit. With scientists and artists in agreement, it was an elaborate hoax. In 2002, Philip Morris, the owner of Morris Costumes, claimed to have created the gorilla suit that was used in the Patterson-Gimlin film. Also, a few years earlier, actor Bob Harmonious had come out and claimed he portrayed Bigfoot in the video. This has never been confirmed as the truth, with Patterson and Gimlin of course sticking to their guns that this was a real Bigfoot sighting. Whatever the real story is, it cannot be denied that with this controversial image and video, Patterson and Gimlin entered the public consciousness and probably will never leave. So what photograph intrigued you the most? Be sure to let us know in the comments. And the next time you snap an image on your phone or your camera, keep in mind that image may actually end up giving you more than you bargained for, and you could be left with a picture that, for the rest of your life, leaves you desperately seeking answers.